this part of your body expanding as well and contracting. Do that a few more times. And now take a hand on the belly, but also on your back, and see if you feel both hands moving. As you breathe diaphragmatically, bring that breath to your spine as well. And yeah, it might not be as obvious as the belly or even the side of the ribs. But it's that intent, it's that idea that we're breathing in this 360-degree manner. And then just sitting up straight and tall, let's now begin to move with grace, right? Taking our arms down, lifting up, inhale just into a V. Look up. Exhale, take it down, chin to chest. Yeah, let that heavy head go. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. And your V might be more of a T, all right? Just find where your shoulders are today. And match your breath with movement. Really stretching up, lengthening through the spine. That's the one thing that I'm finding out with this lower back deal, is really lengthening through my spine is helping to heal it. It's not that crushing into it, obviously. And that's something we need to all remember no matter what. Even if our lower spine isn't telling us, hey, pay attention to me in with more TLC, then we can just give it to ourselves. Let's do two more in more of kind of a preventive mode so that we don't end up with too much pressure on those lower lumbar spine and then into that sacral area. And then hands come down. Good. And then go ahead and take one hand to the front of the chair. Lift the other arm up and lengthen first here. All right, because even though we're going to come over to the side, we're going to really open up here. We have to lengthen first again, so we're not crushing down. So lengthen, and to lengthen, I push into my feet. I hold on here and maybe push downward a bit. See how that helps me lengthen? And then I come on over. And I'm coming over really slight today, but more than I was the other day. So that is improvement. And I'm really stretching, lengthening everything out. And bringing myself up slowly with length. And exhale, slowly down. Keep my length though. Coming down doesn't mean I come back into crushing down on my vertebral column. I still want to stay upwards. Okay, let's do the other side. Hold on here. Arm lifts, we lengthen up. Oh yes, nicely. And I'm lengthening by pushing through my feet, pulling up here on the legs, and lengthening through my arm. Okay, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Take it on over. Stay long here. Okay, because our tendency will be to kind of press downward. We want to stay upward and outward. Okay. Opening here, keep breathing. And when I give you those little guiding terms, it's mostly I'm giving it to myself. Right? So breathe, Julie, breathe. And then bring yourself up, inhale. And exhale. Let's take that hand down. And now let's just keep our hands maybe on the legs of the chair for now or on your thighs. Take your chin to your chest and let's let that heavy head hang. Slowly rolling chin towards one shoulder. Feel that opening in the side of your neck. Slowly take it back down into center. Slowly taking it back behind you. Feel that, yeah, opening there. Exhaling as you come down. Inhaling as you come up. Staying long in our spine, even though our head is getting heavy. When we come to that lifting at the shoulder, we really accentuate the spinal length. We still keep it as we come through the center. Let's do one more each side, you guys. And when you get back to one side, let your head rest there. Okay. And then take that same hand in the direction your head is resting and just bend in place. Not a lot of pressure, just going to be a little bit from your hand, right by your temple, right above your ear. And you'll just feel a little more opening right there. Good. And that trapezius, for me, that feels really, really good. Because even though for me, I'm a little bound up in my lower spine, it takes it all the way up through my entire spine because you just become so protective of yourself. If you want a little more, this other hand can extend outward, flexing the hand down or pulling it up or rotating it a little bit. You're just getting a little bit more of that. You may not want it. You can push through the palm of your hand a little bit. And then relax that hand down and relax this hand down and slowly bring your head back up into head on straight. Okay. And then let's take that chin down to the center again, roll on over to the opposite shoulder. You may want to just stay here because this is a big opening right here. Only if you want that addition, you take your hand and you just take a little bit of weight there. Not much, we're not pressing, right? We're not doing anything that's forceful. We're just letting the weight of our hand come onto our head. And then that other hand, if you want, can extend out, or you can hold on to that leg of the chair. Anything that's going to put a little bit of action, energy into your arm is going to feel that a little bit more in that neck. Yeah. Again, no forcing, nothing like that. And then hand comes down, slowly rise up as this hand comes on back and down. Let's go ahead and take our arms up. Inhale, come into prayer, bend your elbows and take your prayer hands down, pointed downward behind you, right? If we were laying on our belly, this would be called a prostrate position. And it's a really good one for opening up our triceps. If you want to add more, you don't have to. You can rest your head back on your hands and press your hands together. And again, I'm going to just add those amplifications if you want to take them. You don't have to. You can keep this really gentle and just let it go. But not forget about your breath, right? Keep going with the breath. Good. And then releasing arms up. And let's begin some rotation of those wrists. Mine are kind of prickly, crackling. Bringing them on down in one direction. And then I'm going to bring them on up in that opposite direction. And I'm still thinking, am I as straight and long as my spine can be, right? Am I growing rather than shrinking? Let's take those hands on down. All right, grab onto one leg, bring the other arm up and come over. Exhale, let's take it dynamically. Inhale up. Exhale with that hand coming down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, take it over. Notice anything that your body's telling you, okay? Anything that feels good, anything that feels like, oh, I really maybe don't want to go that far, or maybe I feel like I want to go a little bit deeper, All right, listen to the body. It knows, right? It has this magical way of knowing so much, you know, and exhale down. Keep going with your breath. It knows our emotions too, right? And that's why I keep thinking, all right, is there something I need to be having a conversation about with my back about what's going on? Or is there a thought that came into my mind that maybe caused this? Or maybe keeping it from leaving as quickly. And I know for some people that might sound really odd, but it's kind of my belief system that we're all connected in that way, just our emotions and our physical way of being. Let's do one more each side. So we still keep that length even when we come over. And you probably think, well, how can I be lengthening when I'm coming over? This is the length. And we keep it even when we come into the side of an opening. Okay. Bring yourself up. Take that hand down. Exhale. Good. And now let's go into bent elbows and kind of fists right now. And we're just going to, like, we've got streamers in our hands, right? These colorful streamers. And we are working them, working our elbows, our shoulders, our wrists. We can let our wrists kind of be flexible here too. And let's take it in the other way. And I feel like this isn't work so much as play, right? Because there's just loosening, the loosening of our joints here. And it's interesting to see, like, I'm looking and I'm thinking, wow, that right hand, because I'm left-handed, seems kind of uncoordinated compared to the left. And that's just an interesting thing to when you start to see yourself, right? And notice those differences. Okay, take your hands onto your knees and let's do our cow and cat. So here, chest comes forward. Maybe you don't bend into the spine as much as, you know, you might other times, or maybe you feel like you can really get a good curve in that spine. But mostly here, it's chest, opening up the chest, maybe coming into that lumbar spine when you come into cow and you move. And then there is this curl and tuck and rounding into our side. Inhale. And exhale down. Keep going. And let's take 2 more here. And again, always coming into center, always having a long spine before you go into your curving, all right? And keeping that energy flowing through your arms onto your thighs, which will help you stay with that long spine. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and do a figure 4. So taking that leg up, if that's not available to you, please slide it on down your leg and then press into your shin, or please take it onto a block, okay? And flex into the foot. Already, you're gonna feel it right back in here. This is a really easy one to add to your day because we're seated a lot, right? And then just paying attention to how I'm seated, finding that straight spine again, right? Sits bones down, crown, woo, pulling up. My hands can come right onto my shin. I'm gonna flex into that foot and I'm gonna feel it more here. If you don't wanna feel it more, woo, just relax that foot, okay? Or you can point, or you can come into demi point with the ball of your foot, right? Don't wanna come into anything that's gonna cramp you up, right? So if you need just to relax that foot, relax it. If you want that engagement, engage it. Please be you in your practice, okay? And now we're going to stay here either with flex foot or not, and I'm going to come into a twist. My twist is going to be limited today. I'm going to go ahead and take my hand to my knee, press down, Lengthen first, really important, you guys. And then we start that twist, going back and looking over that back shoulder. So your twist may just be in the head or neck. It might be all the way down to your waist. If it's down to your waist, then you're into your lumbar, almost to your sacral area there. And then we slowly release. So key to twists, slow in, slow out, methodical, being really methodical. Now my hand's going to cross to maybe my ankle. I press down with the back of the other hand. Let myself grow. All right. So we're not shrinking, we're growing, and we're going to take a look over that back shoulder. And also any of us out there or here that might be dealing with osteoporosis, right? You want to stay away from big twists. You want to pretend like you're pregnant when you have that, because you don't want to be going into big twists into that lower spine. Let's come back around. Same thing. And let's go ahead and switch legs. Take this foot down. Just as a pregnant person would not want to do a lot of forward folds without support. Same thing with someone who is either in an acute condition with their lower spine, like switching legs, or you've got osteoporosis and forward folding is not a good thing for you. All right, so you've got to just be modifying and be cautious. And forward folding with a straight spine, with knees bent, with legs wider, all that's good because we still want to be mobile. All right, so going and flexing into my foot here, sitting up straight and tall. Growing, 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 growing. Can you imagine yourself just grow a little bit more out of whichever vertebrae you can grow a little bit taller? Flexing into that foot, feeling it right back in here. Sitting here for a couple more breaths. Keeping that nice straight spine. I'm going to go ahead and take my hand to knee, press down behind. Can I make myself even taller? And then take that little bitty twist or a deeper twist, depending on your anatomy, the health of your spine. And bringing ourselves forward and taking ourselves across to the ankle, press down, lift up through your chest, and take a little look over your back shoulder. And then releasing slowly out of that. And let's go ahead and take that foot down. And let's take up and down here. So we can get some strengthening into our feet, into our legs, calves, okay? And just by rising up and coming down. Now rise up, press down, stay down, all right? Take your hands like you're pressing into the ground as well. So arms are contracted, legs, feet are contracted, keeping length in my spine as I press down with my hands. Open up your fingers wide, isometrically pressing hands into space, isometrically pressing the ball of my foot into the surface that it's on. Rise up a little bit more, taller with your spine, and exhale, releasing. And let's just go ahead and open up our feet a little bit more. Take the knees out and then take them in. External, internal rotation here, okay? With feet a little bit wider than shoulders right now. And then let's go ahead and take both legs over to one side. So I'm going to come to the inside of one foot, the outside of the other. One leg internally, one leg externally rotated here, okay? And I can feel that kind of switch in my whole sacral area in my hips as I come in that direction. And as I do, I'm going to take both arms in that direction, looking up. So you can see I'm kind of at a diagonal here, and letting my legs still be in that relaxed position to one side. As I do, I stretch up, and I'm going to take my arms into this beautiful expression of a Trident Mudra or cactus arms, lifting, pressing still into the sides of my feet, Keeping length in my spine. One more time. Take it down. Look up. Good. Rise up. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And exhale, hands down. Let's take the knees back into neutral. Okay. So we're in neutral here. Let's stay here for a moment. Then we'll switch over. Taking those arms up. Inhale. And exhale. Just take hands into Anjali Mudra here. Inhale, lift. Exhale down, chin to chest. 2 more times. Using your breath. Getting into this meditative flow here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come down. Stretch. Lengthen through that spine. Let's take our legs over to the other side. So we're just letting them cave in to one side, okay? And only let them cave to a place that feels right for your knees, for your ankles, for everything. Taking that weight into the inside of one foot and the outside of the other. And my body then gets redirected from being forward to being over here. Lift my arms up, inhale. Lengthen here. Lengthen. And exhale. When I pull down into cactus, I don't lose the length in my spine. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more times. Lift, lengthen. And exhale. Rise. And exhale. Good. And then lifting up. And exhale. Let's turn ourselves back into neutral. So just a little exercise there where you can see when we are in neutral, when we're out of neutral, and there's nothing wrong with being out of neutral. It's just realizing, oh, okay, I'm sitting like that for a long time. Let me come back to neutral. And then let me come to the other side so that we balance everything out, okay? Balance is critical. All right, let's go ahead and keeping blocks by us. I'm definitely gonna be using them on the high side and letting your feet come open a bit, right? The knees will be open. And from here, I'm just going to begin to shift my long spine left and right, okay? And mine might not be shifting as much as it may in the past, but that's okay. Still shifting. I'm still honoring my body because it's giving me these messages, you know, that are really, really important and really places for me to learn. And now I want to take and make circles. You guys might be making bigger circles than I am. Doesn't matter. It could be smaller circles than I am, but these circles are ours, right? And they are working to get our waist and our hips. Let's reverse that. Go down the other way. So we're working into this hip socket here. And then coming back to rest here. I'm going to go ahead and place my forearm first on my thigh. That's probably the lowest position and the highest of the lowest positions, I should say. But you can also come with a block or 2 blocks up, all right? So the realization here is that we use what we can to move our bodies in a good, healthy, safe way. Press up towards your hip bone and press down there just a bit, okay, right there. And that will put pressure into your foot and it will put a little more pressure into your forearm here. And if you'd like, looking up and tracing a line and looking down. Let's do that one more time. Looking up, tracing a line with our chin and looking down. Looking back at neutral, keeping myself long here by this pressure I'm putting here and here, still helping support. Then I'm going to take and lift this arm up and take it over, okay? Notice that nice straight line lengthening through my spine again as much as I can. And breathing into that length. Breathing and smiling into that length. Good. And then taking that hand down. Taking your body slowly back up into center. And let's just take one shoulder forward and then the other shoulder forward so that we're just tiny little twists here, okay? Kind of more for the shoulder. And maybe you want to do a little, I'm a sexy woman shoulder roll here. All sexy women still. Leave that. There we go. All right, good. And then let's go ahead and take it over here. And again, might need to build it up a little bit with a block, okay? If coming down that far is a little bit much. And I think I'm gonna actually use a block on this one because coming up for me from this other side was a little bit catchy. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead pressing down here, pressing into my feet, pressing here into right where my hip is, so that that's going to push down onto that foot. It's also going to help me lengthen right here. So let's just do that and come into some breath here. And taking our gaze up to that sun that's coming closer and closer to the center of its apex there. That's the right word. It's height into the south here. And taking breath as you move steadily through your neck, only if your neck says yes. And even when we have issues with the neck or whatever, we still want to move it, but we want to move it to a place that is right for us, okay? Still keeping our arm on our thigh or block, the other arm lifts up, take it over, press into those feet. Stay strong and open with your legs. Okay? Stay long in that side body. That's good. Pushing down into my forearm helps me lift that torso up a little bit more. Pressing down through my feet, into my seat, into my arm helps to lengthen the side body a little bit more. Breathing though, please breathe. Okay. And then coming back up. Yeah, that was better for me to have that block there. Coming, believe it or not, I know you guys thinking, wow, she's really kind of tight. Yes, I am. So now we're going to take those blocks to the inside of your feet. Maybe scoot back a little bit in your chair, okay? Because we are going to come forward, but with a straight spine. So I'm first going to take my hands on my thighs. I'm going to lean forward, and I'm going to lean forward with a straight spine, okay? So this is how forward folds can happen for people that might be dealing with like osteoporosis or arthritis in the spine. Taking them with support. I know yesterday, I don't think Luann will mind me mentioning her name, but she was in my in-person class. And she's been doing a lot of yoga. So straight spine, okay? Hands on blocks. A lot of yoga online with a woman called Yoga with Adriene, I think. And Yoga with Adriene is good. It's a good series, but there's not a lot of modifications where people are mentioning of that. But then, of course, at the beginning of almost everything, it says, you know, you should see your doctor, and they have the disclaimers. Okay, and let's keep that back straight. Keep lengthening through your spine. I'm going to stay here for a few more breaths. And so she does a lot of forward folding and without support, like the hang and drain, we used to call it, where you hold onto your elbows and you just hang there. Not good for someone who has osteoporosis, all right? Not good to do those forward folds and those big old twists. And Luann just discovered that yesterday when we were in class. It was not really the best thing for, not so paid for 20-year-olds. And then you can keep one hand on the block, take the other one back up to that hip joint again, press down. So we're in a little different position here. If you want, you can take that hand up, back, and around, and make some kind of ovals there. So you get that knee kind of in the way to do a full circle, but make some ovals and then reversing. Still our back is long. Okay, we haven't released into the spine. Any of you that want to can certainly do that and take that forward fold. Let your head go lower than your heart if you want, if your back allows. Okay. And then I'm going to place that hand back on the block and the other one release it to that place that we were at before, right there, right at the hip. Okay. And make that opening there. And then only if it feels right, go ahead and take your arm and let's make some circles. So we're staying static with our straight spine and our hand on that block, but we're staying dynamic with the other arm. Okay, coordinating our movements. Let's take it around. Come on back. Good. Hands on blocks. Straighten out yourself again. Long spine. Hand, hand, and coming up straight. Okay. And then in the prenatal classes, we do a lot of that too, where we take it from blocks to our thighs, and then we stand up slowly instead of just like, jerking our bodies up. So let's go ahead, keep blocks available. We're going to come into warrior two. So I'm going to take one leg over the side of the chair. Okay, and any of you that want can certainly take this standing. And I line up, foot going away from me, right? Ankle, knee in alignment, knee and hip in alignment. This leg I can keep just like this if I want. You can extend it back. You can place it on a block, but I'm just going to stay like this today. And I'm going to raise my arms out, okay, from my shoulders, really pushing through those fingers, okay. I'm going to look over my fingers to one side here, which is a warrior two stance. Pressing into whatever's touching the chair, whatever's touching the ground, so that I can grow my crown up a little higher, being a really strong and proud warrior woman here. And then I'm going to take my hand back on the chair behind me. The other arm comes up, and you might come into a little bitty back bend here. And again, where your spine is, but keep it long. Right? When we come into back bends and we are crushing into our spine, it is not good for us. Come into it with a longer spine. It's really a good opening for heart, for chest. And then bringing ourselves up, push through those fingers and down with the hand behind you, then release and take it on out. Okay. And then this bent leg, let's go ahead and straighten it and flex, and you might just need to adjust a bit so you're not cutting into any part of your leg. So let's flex into it if it feels good, or kind of flex into the ball of the foot. Because if you flex, flexing's all right, but pointing, you may end up with a cramp. So either flexing or pointing with the ball of your foot, but stay active there, okay? And so from here, rising up, inhale. And exhale, let's take it down, right under left. Whatever, let me put it this way, whatever leg's extended, that arm comes under, okay? Because I'm not sure which one you guys are using. So we're in eagle arms with the leg extended. So we've got some good opening going on there. Inhale, lift, and exhale, pull down, elbows to your bosom. Inhale, lift. Exhale down to your chest. Chin comes down to inhale. Exhale down towards your breasts. Inhale. Exhale down to our beautiful heart. Inhale up, releasing arms Bring them out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come here to Anjali Mudra. Taking one hand on the bent knee, the other hand on the extended, but not pressing into the knee joint, okay? Slide down to what feels like that's your depth of sliding, all right? For me, it's right about here, right under my knee joint. I'm gonna press my fingers there, take the other hand up, and just take it over. So I've got, again, the long leg and the bent leg. Heel is pressing in on the one foot. The whole entire foot is pressing on the other. And I'm stretching and lengthening my upper body. So much is going on, just simple little poses. And then I come on back. And I bring that leg in. Extend my arms out again for warrior two. Just taking a look over. Couple breaths. Good. Exhale, hands come down. And then we're going to bring our legs, our knees forward. And from here, we will go to the other side, but let's do something in a neutral position first. Right here in neutral, let's go ahead and lift up in onto our balls of our feet. Come on down, lift up. Bring it on down. Two more. I'll be able to hear my ankles cracking there. Not down. Good. And then from here, just go ahead and take a little bit of your extension out and go back and forth into this windshield wiper. It's another good thing to do when you find yourself seated for a little bit too long is to, again, move your position, move your legs, stand up, walk around, because again, seated also begins to press everything down into our spine, because most of the time we're not saying, okay, I'm going to sit up nice and straight and tall when I'm watching this 2-hour movie. We get real comfortable, right? So again, changing your position, standing up, doing things like that will help, okay? And now I'm going to go ahead and move over to the other side, getting the opposite leg over and this leg forward. So my knees towards you. I'm trying to line up as much as I can here. And then I find my arms extending nice and long here. See that they're long. Take a look over. Feel strong. Feel fearless. Feel courageous. Feel like a true warrior. True warrior that works within first and foremost, doing our own private battles. Lengthen through your crown again, guys. See if you can get a little bit taller as you press into the ground. Press in sits bones or hips or whatever's touching your chair. Lift the knee up a little bit more. And then taking your hand behind you, lift up here into reverse warrior. Taking a look up if and only if that feels right for you. Or maybe I look down or I keep my head in neutral, right? But keeping length, right? Keep length even though we're coming into this little bit of a reverse C shape here. We're still keeping length. Heart reaches up, bounces up. And then slowly rising back up, taking myself out into this position of open heartedness, open chest, and then extending this front leg so that I'm on the heel. And again, I'm not hyperextending into that knee, all right? But I'm letting my heel take the weight. I'm pulling back on my foot into a flex position, if and only if you want that. Otherwise, you can leave it kind of loosey-goosey. You don't have to do that, right? And you can flex through the ball of your foot if you want, okay? All right, and let's go ahead and take those arms out again, nice and long. And the arm of the leg that's extended is coming under. And we're making that, those eagle arms again, lifting up, inhale. Pulling down, bowing into self, exhale. Inhale, lift. Bow down. Squeezing into our chest cavity. Squeezing into our mammary glands there. One more time, inhale. And exhale down. Lifting up. And exhale, releasing hands. Taking one hand back. And let's just let this hand come around. And I'm not sure if this is what we did on the other side. It was kind of one thing after the other. And I don't remember. So you guys aren't here with me to remind me. So we'll just move. Okay. And that's a good thing too, that we don't have to be, let's go ahead in the other way. We don't have to be so exact about our practice. I know there are places and there's room for that, you know, in certain traditions of yoga and such. But I think for all of us that are just wanting to move and we're wanting to feel our bodies and recognize better who we are through that feeling of our bodies, then let's take our hands down, slide hand down, but only to a place that's not pushing down on your knee. Find that place wherever that is. Other arm comes up. This is what we did the last time. We took this arm and went around. So we can certainly do that. But just find yourself holding here in this side bend with hands, fingers somewhere, but not on that kneecap, okay? And this is what we did, I believe. I'm going to come around a couple more times. And find my extension. Find my length, right? And bring myself back up. Bend into this front knee. Find myself expressing widely and wildly into my warrior two. Really lengthening here, pressing down, feet into the ground. This is how you can strengthen your lower body, right? By being still seated in the chair, pressing, getting to know that ground beneath your feet. And then let your hands come down. Right. And then bring yourself back into the front of the chair, knees in, both knees, kind of knock knee here, resting on the insides of your feet, and just letting our hips come into this internal rotation that just releases them, right? Our hips do so much. Here's a way that we can just let them release and be. And then I'm going to release one a little bit more than the other while I pull one leg out and let the other one come in and find, again, a little bit of that sideways position, but we're not going to hold it there. We're going to go ahead and pull ourselves back to internal and then open, external, internal. Bring them together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. And exhale. One more time each side. Really finding length. Bringing those knock knees together, taking your hands on the chair, and then finding yourself coming back into the back of your chair with a straight spine. You might want to have something under your feet so that you can keep your legs from dangling. If you have those blocks and you want to arrange yourself like that, take the time to do that. That's great. If not, don't worry about it. Just always suggestions. And then I'm just going to lift myself and kind of get my hips resituated. But as I'm doing that, I'm working on my upper body strength too, right? Yeah, we gotta fight gravity when we do that. Let's do two more. Good. I see your hands popping up and down. Good. And then go ahead and let your body come back vertebrae by vertebrae into that chair. Okay. Now, this is conscious attaching to the back seat of the chair, not a slouching into that chair. So I don't know exactly what your chair looks like. Mine has the back that goes all the way to pretty much my sacral area of my spine. So I'm going to take my hands behind me on that chair. I'm going to press like I've got my hands on my hips, but I'm pressing into the chair. All right. And I'm pulling my belly, my navel into the back of the chair. Okay. So I'm really compressing here in a good way, taking that curve out of my lumbar spine and lengthening my spine as I do that. Okay. And breathe. Feeling every vertebrae against that chair if you have a chair with a back that's pretty extensive. Not just whatever part is there. And we are pressing back. So be careful that you don't press back so far that you lift the front of your chair legs off the ground. Okay, and then relaxing. Woo. And if you were pressing into the back of the chair, go ahead and let's release and just flipping those wrists. Good. Extending hands long here. Let's go ahead and press in again, in with the shoulders there. And take a look down in towards our heart. Shoulders melting down. And then bringing ourselves up, getting your cervical spine in alignment with the rest of your spine. And that could be very straight. If you're in a formal chair or like mine, it's a little bit fat. So I've got to lengthen there to get that cervical spine in alignment with the diagonal movement of my back. And then I'm going to take my arms up. And here we're going to work a little bit right in here, you guys, okay? Pressing into the back of the chair, pressing into my feet, and then bringing myself forward, away from the chair, using a little bit of core, coming into a really straight spine. If you are already really straight in that chair because it was very formal, then just bring yourself forward a little bit more, but not folding, to fold, okay? And then take yourself back, slowly back into the chair. Feel that connection, okay? Pull with your fingers, let them lead. Pull the back away from your chair. Exhale, take yourself back. Inhale, pull yourself forward to at least perpendicular spine. Maybe you come to a little bit of an incline. Pull back and keep the back straight. Keep it long. Bring yourself back. Let's do 2 more of those. And we're breathing. Right. Hands come down. You may just feel that in your arms from doing that. And then from here, if you had your feet on blocks, go ahead and just put them under. Let's come back to the edge of our chair. Find ourselves seated in mountain pose. So making sure everything's in good alignment, making sure that spine is nice and long, taking that crown and reaching it up, taking our breath and reaching it out. Out in all directions. So you feel it in your lower spine. Feel it in your front of your belly. Feel it in the side of your ribs. That full expansion of bliss. take a couple more breaths like that together, please. Hopefully you're able to sense that difference between just chest breathing, just belly breathing, or just big, huge diaphragmatic breath. Okay? And just keep practicing that. It'll come a little more natural to us all, right? I'm really working on that too, and kind of moving away just from talking about belly breath to this expansiveness of all around. So let's go ahead and just take our hands into Anjali Mudra here, or you can take your hands and cover your heart space. Let's take a couple breaths together. Today we're going to end with an Om in our class. Starting on the throat chakra, we need to do some things that I'm not as comfortable doing, and some of that are these chants and these sounds. So take a big deep breath. Exhale with an Om. From my heart to yours, thank you. You two beautiful